Okay, now I'll give you a quick overview of the video recording options. So on the top of the camera, if you press and hold OK, you'll see it goes into the settings screen. So that is your camera mode, that is your playback mode, that's the settings, and that's just go back. So you can use the left hand side to go between the menus. Let's go straight to settings, press OK. Rec mode is the first option. Press OK again, and I'll go into the settings, which says I'm still in the camera, video mode. That's the 4K. I can use this to go down to 2.7K, 1080p, 720p, or back up again. So now if I was to select OK, it'll go to 4K, which is fine. Interval recording is the next option in this setup, and you can use interval recording for making recordings for how long it records for between settings. So it's 0.5 seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds. Into recording interval, so how long it records for at any one time. White balance, which is basically like sunny and cloudy in the days. Exposure, if you want it lighter or darker. Video length, unlimited, but you can set it to a certain duration. So I wanted to just record, I don't know, there's a few options there for like a minute or minute and a half at any one time. That'll be handy in like a motion detection environment, so you can leave it recording for a certain amount of time. And the next option is metering mode. I normally go average, but you can go center or spot. That basically looks at the image and decides how dark or how bright it is based on an average over the whole image, just a center or a spot. So for example, if you're taking a picture of a black dog and you did center metering, it'll try and make the black dog more brighter, which means everything in the picture will be brighter. If you did it spot, that's similar. It'll look at a certain spot. Averages, it looks at the whole image and gives you a reasonable exposure. Let's leave it an average. Going down, sharpness, I normally leave it on middle, but you can make it high or low depending on when you make a video how well you think it looks. Quality determines how big the file will be. At the moment it's set to middle. You can make it a lower quality, which makes the video file a smaller size, or higher quality, which is a better image overall. ISO is how sensitive it will be to the light. A lower number means you'll get a nicer, clearer image, but you want that on a brighter day. So if you have loads of light, you can make it a lower number. If it's very dark, it'll be a higher number, like 3200, but you'll get a lot more noise in the image. So if it's indoors, you'll notice the image is not as great quality at a higher ISO. I normally leave it on auto unless I'm doing something specific. Driving mode is basically if the cable is plugged into your car and you start your car, it will auto start recording, and when you turn your car off, it'll auto stop recording. It's like a dash cam thing. That's back to the top again. And then if I press OK on the screen, or even mode, you'll go to the next option, which is the settings. Image rotation basically flips the screen upside down. So if you're mounting it in a car, you can mount it upside down and still see the image, which that's just that. Wi-Fi you could turn off or turn on. I'll show you another way of doing that as well, and that's when you're connecting it to the app, which will be in a later segment. Wi-Fi information is here, so it gives you the name of the Wi-Fi that this camera will submit to as a name, and the password if you're connecting to the camera. And hopefully that, yeah. So then down, reset Wi-Fi, light source frequency. I've not really used that, to be honest, but I leave it on auto. That's basically similar to like monitors have a 50 Hz and 60 Hz, so how good the refresh rate is, I understand it to be. Do let me know in the comments if I'm misinterpreting that. So LED indicator when it's recording. Do you want a light flashing when it's recording? That's fine, leave it on. If you're doing some type of video where you don't want people knowing you're recording, like if it's a helmet cam or like a proof recording type thing, you might not want the LED indicator on. And auto screensaver, after how long does the screen turn off? It can be 30 seconds, or you can turn it off and always have the display on, which will take a bit more battery power. Auto power off, how long the screen turns off after how long the camera turns off if it's not being used. That's 3 minutes. Beep sounds, I always turn those off. That's when you press buttons if it gets a beep or not. Languages, that's self-explanatory. Time format, and also time set. You can also have a date set on there, and then the format is to format the memory card. If you have a new memory card in there, it's always advisable to format that first before you continue. And device info is basically just the version number of this camera, and if they ever ask you about it, you can check the version number. Default settings is it puts it back to the standard default settings, and that's back to the top. press mode again, and then okay, and that'll go back here. Remember I talked about Wi-Fi? If you press and hold the up button, it will turn the Wi-Fi on. There we go. Oop, I pressed it too much. You have to press, yeah, you don't have to press and hold it. You just press up once. So now that Wi-Fi is enabled. Now let me show you how to connect to the Wi-Fi. Okay, next up I'll show you how to connect to your computer.